Well, hello. Welcome to the Emily Reviews the Buddyfight episode with people who said they were going to leave. This episode made me ashamed to be a Dual Dragon player.
But made us less mad than the last episode.
I play the dragon thingamadoodle things and the drums and the bumps.
Well, there you have it. Yeah.
Dan, stop sniffing paint!
Well, you know whatever. Because of this, I support interspecial sexual activity.
Well, there you have it. Sexual activity within a species. But yeah, the last episode
proved our theory.
Yeah, this episode proved our theory that
Gao
whenever Gao is not around as a actual focus, the episodes are good. I know we said we were going to watch any more after this, and we were set not to watch this.
I wasn't gonna, but then I caught wind that it's a Noboru episode, and I'm like, well, shoot.
We'll give it a shot.
He's the everyman. We can relate to this kid.
And then we watched it, and wouldn't you know it, it was actually okay. I mean, it wasn't the best thing in the world, but for Buddyfight, it was pretty good. And in fact, I downright say its message is probably better than any card game based show I've seen.
So the episode starts in Flashback with Noboru at a card store showing off his collection of commons.
Whoa.
Hey, they weren't all commons.
Yeah, some of them were good, but most of them were commons, and they're like, wow, what
Until
a collection.
about a year ago, I thought I could do anything. And then, wait, where did the story go from there?
And then they kept, once again, emphasize, why don't you have El Quixote in your deck? Because he's weak. At Maximilian's right there.
We'll keep going back to that. But that's a separate story. I think it was mostly shown as a wah-wah. He's using El Quixote, and it's helping him get better.
So then he tries to go to the Buddyfight office and says, I don't want this old man anymore. Get rid of him. I want a new one.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, he's clearly does not... He's coming across a crossroads where he has to deal with the fact that he's not right about what his choices in the game as he's been losing recently. And ever since the old man El Quixote has started teaching him how to play properly, he's been doing better, and he doesn't know how to feel about this.
Especially since he's like, you failed as a knight, El Quixote. But once again, Maximilian's lore says he failed as a knight.
Yeah, they're both kind of jokes.
But then Maximilian's like, I didn't... Wait, no, not Maximilian.
El Quixote.
El Quixote's like, I did not fail. He's like, you attacked a windmill. He's like, but what if it was a monster?
But what if it was a monster?
I was doing what I wanted because it would protect people.
And
I mean, it's extremely silly.
It is very silly, and it's played as such on purpose. But at the same time, it's really great because that shows you the kind of guy he is. He's willing to fight anything and everything to protect people.
He's the only character, I think, who could ever pull off saying, but what if the windmill was dangerous?
Yeah, and they totally brought up the book.
Yeah, he brought up the book.
Don Quixote.
Yep.
And of course, being silly, as Buddyfight is, they said it was based on me.
At least they are willing to acknowledge that the Bible exists in this world. It's only the second for a reason.
It made me really want to read that book, actually.
Well, it's
I'm sure it's easy to find. I mean,
Second most
he said it
popular
himself.
book. So then Tess shows up and goes, hey, you're that guy who hangs out with Gao, you know, a kitten shirt?
Yeah, apparently.
It's not a, you know what, fuck it doesn't matter. What do you want?
That was great.
I want to show you something, let's go. What? Oh, okay.
But meanwhile, we cut to what Gao and everyone's doing.
Everyone's doing because Gao has to be in at least the episode for at least a minute.
And also, we just realized this in this episode. Why is the student president dressed like a Nazi? And why does no one realize that this might be a problem?
He's dressed like he's clearly the villain, but no one suspects him to be the villain.
No one, because he's a fine, upstanding member of society.
Dressed like a Nazi.
And then once again, Drum is a douchebag.
It's some sort of warming party for the start of the tournament.
Yeah, so they're all there just enjoying the food and whatever, or at least trying to, but Drum keeps stealing it.
All of it.
And it's like my
Whoa,
food.
this cake stuff's amazing.
I'm like, Drum, how are you like the most popular character in this show? You're a jerk.
He's a douche. Why does anyone like him?
Stealing food from the food-eating maniac. You know you're a douche.
Like poking a bear.
And then we have confirmed Curie's sexuality.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's true.
yeah.
He is
Okay.
incredibly gay.
Yeah, we should. Well, they don't come right out and say it, but after what we saw, we have to assume that he like
Crossed
really
the line
likes.
from creepy stalker to raging faggot in one action.
Yeah.
And you know what? Gal's okay with this.
Yeah, he literally, when he first shows up in the episode, he just scrubs and drapes himself on Gao.
Like this. Hi,
He's a ghost.
And the guy was just like, hey, what's up? Have you seen Noboru anywhere? That's it.
And that is their concern because, well, he's the only guy in the tournament who's not there.
Gal. And he's the only guy who looks close enough to Corrine.
Yep, so where Corrine became Where's Noboru, and just like everything else in Buddyfight, it only lasted about an episode.
So then we cut back to what Noboru and Task are doing, and they go to the top secret location that
Yeah.
Noboru totally knows is top secret.
Yeah, he says, are you sure I should be here? Isn't this place top secret? And I'm like, well, if it's top secret, you probably wouldn't know about it.
It's not Area 51.
Buddy Police headquarters. They don't know what goes on in there. They just know it exists.
Oh,
Either way. So yeah, they wanted to show him something. So they cut to Senpai Man chasing down a man riding a dragon. And by chasing, I mean he's jogging down the street right
fucking
behind a
dinosaurs.
dinosaur running down. It's quite a sight.
Also, tangible buddies confirmed.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, anyone who thought that the reason they that Tosca didn't ride on top of a freaking what? Thank you, Jackknife, was because he isn't tangible. Clearly, that's not the case.
Nope.
Because we see him riding his dinosaur down the road.
Buddy's skill of flight. He just doesn't need to.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like, no, that still doesn't make sense why he has a car, and of course he never uses the car again.
Okay, so he's chasing down this criminal.
And then it happens.
Akaoni, whatever his face, literally red demon. He looks like one too.
Yep, he does.
And then it
They
happens.
eventually corner him. Shut up, Em. They corner him and to force him into a fight. So he luminizes his core gadget, and this is what we get.
Oh, double good instead. Even better.
And Jack bursts out in hysterics.
And so does Tasku, although a lot more subdued.
After telling him, hey, you shouldn't make
Shouldn't be
fun
fun
of
of
him.
him. He's like, stop making fun of me.
Dude, all you'd ever do is roar. You have more character than this asshole.
Yeah, literally. All he does is roar or say sarcastic remarks. He's more of a likable character with 3 dimensions than this guy who has had episodes dedicated to him. I'm sensing a theme here. Everyone who's supposed to be the main character is like the worst kind of main character. And all the side characters are like main characters that are from other shows just showing up in here.
For real, man.
I really think Jack and Gal were added at last minute.
No, Drum and Gal.
Drum and Gal, sorry.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's
possible.
possible. When you look at the original advertisement for the show,
He
what was the main
wasn't
advertisement
there.
that we saw? We saw Tasku, who was known as Blue-Haired Kid at the time, and his
had-
dragon,
Buddy Police people, supposedly.
supposedly. That's all we knew. It wasn't until the second trailer where we saw Gal and Drum at all, and they were in partial silhouettes.
They were at the end. They
Yeah.
were built up as some sort of antagonist rather than...
Well, in a way, aren't they antagonists? They're derailing this series.
Oh god, they're Decade! They're the villains all along!
Maybe they are.
No! Not again!
And I'm gonna get the taser.
Okay.
Anyway,
That makes you think, though, doesn't
it does make you think, though. I'll agree with that. I mean,
Friends with everyone. Dick to everyone.
dick to everyone. Like, I have yet to see him actually, like, except with the exception of letting Kiri basically hump him from behind. I can't think of a single thing he's really doing to make friends.
Oh, we gotta get the gift now.
Yeah, we do. But so yeah, they start their fight.
And then we get Test Spectre.
Kind of.
No, we hear that after the disaster.
Whatever it was.
Whatever it was, we don't get any information on what that means. But after that, because it can't be helped,
Stuck in the
he's
mountain.
stuck on a mountain, and then he gets,
Buddy Rare in the middle of nowhere.
yeah, the card's just there,
Not even the poster.
just the card,
Because
and
he was dying, I
I
guess.
guess, and then the Buddyfight found him, And then he's been a hard worker ever since because he doesn't want to be someone who needs protection, but he wants to be a protector. Which is cool, I know. I mean, it's not really a big mind-blowing backstory. We don't really learn anything we didn't already know.
I don't know how having the dragon helped him live.
They hunted down deer.
I don't know, man. They're out in the middle of nowhere. I don't think there were any animals.
Mountain goats!
It looked like there were any. It looked pretty empty. Or either way, that's not the point. The point is, they told him this story, you know, to give him something to think about, and then we saw Jackknife Dragon decide to evolve, Pokemon style evolve.
Evidently, Tusk is the only one who has this
ability. Just like he was the only one who had the ability to use Gargantua Punisher.
Yeah, but soon enough we're gonna get Barrier Breaker. Deal with it. Except it's kind of different because Barrier Breaker is not an evolution.
No, he's just a card of play. I mean,
so I don't even know.
I don't even know what this is about. It's like it's still Jackknife.
It explains why he's got all these different forms that he can just kind of whip out whenever.
It's true. That's true.
Without consistency issues.
And you pay 6 life points or
no,
just half your life?
If he's on the side, you can pay 2 to kill any monster.
Why do that instead?
So what he did was pay 6 to kill all of them, even though he really didn't have to. And that was kind of a point they were stressing. He's a bit reckless.
He just kind of gets in there. So at least it was explained. It was unnecessary, but he didn't do anything that would have cost him the game.
Also,
it's gonna be his undoing one day.
Right, it might be his undoing one day because, well, it's set up to do that. And I'm sure it's going to be Gal who is the one who drags him back because, according to Noboru, he is special just like Tasku. Even though we don't know why, he's not done a single thing.
He doesn't know why. They're special somehow.
It's just somehow.
They're not like me.
Yeah, even though he has no real reason to believe that. I mean, God's never done anything important other than beat Tasku, but he's beaten everybody so far. I mean, and everyone's trying to just said it's because Baku's decks are just that good.
He's read the script.
Yeah, him and El Quixote both read the scripts.
So
because El Quixote's like, you know why people
Porco
like
has
me?
to read the script. She's like dictating everything that goes on.
Waddle, waddle, waddle. Man, she did a whole lot of nothing this episode, though.
She doesn't do anything in general. She is literally just there to say what's going on. It's kind of her job.
Can you Rio during a coral limit break? Crossroad. Okay.
Anyway.
So, yeah, El Quixote brings up the very good point that people like relatable characters.
Yeah.
Then why is Gal the main character?
I mean, that's my point. I mean, when he's trying to figure out what the whole point of that story was, and El Quixote, follows him and tries to explain it, he's like, "Why should I listen to you? You're a joke." And he's like, "Have you seen the Don Quixote story, the second best-selling book in the world? It's about me, etc." We brought up before, and we're just bringing out how he hasn't necessarily done anything spectacular. He didn't, save the planet or anything like that.
I'm just doing what I want to do.
He's just doing what he likes, doing what he loves, and having fun with it. And that is what people enjoy about him. He's not trying to be bigger than everyone. He's just trying to be a man who does what he wants to do in life. And that's what makes him a relatable character. And that's what makes Noboru a relatable character. Because he's a character
sort of struggling with this idea because he hasn't done anything.
He hasn't got a chance to do anything. He's been trying to chase the goal of being a awesome dragon knight. And he hasn't gotten to grips with the fact that he can't. It's actually kind of depressing when you think about it like that.
I can't be a Dragon Knight, but you know what? Fuck it, I can play this game.
Yeah, we'll get to that though in a bit, because while he's going back to wherever he was going to, he gets jumped by Codpiece's brother.
Well, he didn't get jumped. It's more like he ran into him squabbling on the street with his buddy because he didn't want to be a crook anymore.
Don't want to be a bad guy anymore, Lionel.
Guy Korga and
Korga, man.
Pansy.
No, I unflipped the neck.
Yeah, well, then he jumped him because he brought them into the elevator.
Yep.
So he jumped him at some point.
We accept.
Yeah, he basically says, if I win, I get your Corgus and your buddy, and El Quixote immediately accepts. Not sure if it's because he knows that there's no actual downside to losing this.
I
Or
imagine
if-
he
Life
does.
of the buddy. He can just
Yeah.
walk away.
Yeah, because we find out that exactly that literally a few minutes later when they start the match and Gal Korga gets his knapsack and just leaves. He's like, I'm done. I'm going home.
I'm canceling the contract. Bye.
Yeah.
Fuck you and your stupid criminal attitude!
And then just goes. So it's like, so we know right there that means that if he did win, it actually took El Quixote could just break the contract and leave whenever
See
he
you,
wants.
bitches!
The human can't do it.
And then
No.
come back. Yeah, the human can't do it without getting his balls busted by people. But the buddy monster can just leave whenever they feel like it.
Buddy call the right. Or at least that's what I was going to do.
Yeah, which actually brings up
Bitter he was about.
he was so bitter, but it does bring up an interesting point. Wouldn't the fight just be null right there? He doesn't have a buddy anymore. Does that mean you can play the game without a buddy?
Well, they did at the castle store.
Well, I guess you can apparently play the game without a buddy. Either way, I did find it funny that he's like like Timmy's dad. This is where I put my trophy. If I had one.
Fight was kind of whatever. They
It
didn't
existed.
pay a whole lot of attention to it.
Well, a good chunk of it was cut out because Gal had to suck up some attention for our last couple minutes.
If you didn't have that red baron, I would have killed you so dead. You're lucky. No.
No,
And he finally acknowledges the fact that this wasn't luck. I did this.
Yep, he set all this up. He planned this all, and he set up his final attack to win.
Impact.
Yep, he used his impact, realizing that, yeah, like we said earlier, that he can't be a knight, but he can at least play this game to the best of his abilities. Then he uses the impact card that he requires the 2 knights on the sides and an empty front row
Yeah.
to kill all your opponent's cards and do 3 damage, and
It was a clean
he
sweep.
literally just wham,
Everything died, and so did the player
at the same time. It was one of the most glorious finishers I've seen in this game that wasn't over CG'd like Gargantua Punisher.
I'm not attacking. I'm just playing this.
I'm just gonna do this. Wham, dead.
And then everyone's like, oh my god, because apparently no one ever fights criminal fighters and expects to win.
Yeah, apparently. So, I mean, in fairness, we've only seen Buddy Police actually do it up to this point. So,
Establishes him as something special in our eyes, even if it's not inverse, because he's actually done something that
done,
these other people haven't.
done something that makes him unique. It's done something that has made him find what he wants to do in life. It's given him basically a path to become a fully realized person.
He's not even mouthing off to Gao anymore.
Yeah.
Dude, that was
It's
cool.
like-
Yeah, I wish we could have fought or whatever the hell.
That guy wasn't that tough. But now I can't wait. Now I'm excited more than ever for the tournament or something like that to fight you guys.
Oh yeah, and coolest buddy skill? Or coolest
Yeah,
buddy skill?
yeah, that's right. When he's getting about to get assaulted by the little brother, El Quixote decides, I'm going to give you the buddy skill because unlike Drum, he's not a bitch.
Repulsor armor!
Yeah, he gets repulsing armor. Not repulsing as in ugly, repulsing as it repulses anything that tries to attack him. So he gets a glowing suit of armor to go with his to go with his lance. So he is effectively a knight in a way.
I get the feeling he's gonna join the buddy police.
Hey,
That would
I'd
be
be fine with
great.
that. That'd be great. Dude, I was so afraid when this show started. I was gonna hate Noboru so damn much because he looked like he was just gonna be that person that you always see at a store.
Gary Oak.
Let's go with that. You know that
Snark, snark, snark.
that snarky bastard who he or she always says that
They're right.
that they're right even though they have nothing to back it up. If they lose, they just say you got lucky, etc.,
Trying to
etc.
undermine everyone's everything.
And those people know who they are, or if they don't, everyone around you knows who you are. And, I was afraid I was going to hate this character because that's exactly what he is. He just assumed everyone was wrong at first and that he was the only one who was right. And then he started getting a development. Like, El Quixote was the best thing that happened to him because he became a character.
Man, all of that happening in the background, and now we have a proper episode. It was nice.
Yeah, it's like it all happened in the background. It all slowly built up after El Quixote confirmed joined him. It was just little bits and pieces here. We saw him getting lessons, becoming less of a,
douche.
a prick.
That was another thing he had to learn. You gotta accept other people's ideas besides your own, otherwise you're gonna sort of be in your own little world, and that's not good.
You're gonna think Maximilian's a good card.
Anyway, but it's actually it is the point, and that's a lesson. Like I mentioned, I know I mentioned a lot, but it's why I like Noboru now so much, because he's grown so much, and he's not learning that simply friendship is all you need or anything like that. He's learning that you just gotta accept other ideas. You have to accept that you can only do certain things that other people can't do. You have to accept that you have to be the best at what you like to do.
He's learning to be a man.
Yeah.
And this happened in the span of 3 episodes?
Yeah.
So
Still.
what the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah. Still waiting for you to do something, gal.
Like, you gotta grow a pair.
Like, for those of you who don't understand why we were so mad at episode 10, that's my reason. Gao in 10 episodes, not in episode 9, I mean, right? Or is it 10? In episode 9, that was my problem with episode 9. Was, in 9 episodes, what has Gao accomplished? Nothing. What has he done to make himself better? Nothing.
He said no progression. He just started off
fact,
good and continued to be good.
Yeah, in fact, the only things that have changed with his anything are the stuff that his friends force on him. Like force changing his deck.
Even then, the deck is not the man.
Yeah, exactly. And even then, the deck would have technically lost if the guy fighting him played competently.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, even then, that might even be a step backwards. It's that shows, if you follow Gao's story, is teaching you do what everyone else says without thinking about, logic, and you'll be okay. Even though if you stop and think about it, and even stop and look at the fight, he was going to lose because he was using their deck. And no one brings it up at all. You look at his character. He just keeps saying, oh no, I'm doing something terrible if I do this, even though he's really not. And then at the end, he decides, I'm going to do what I was saying was a bad idea because I realized, there isn't actually a problem with doing it. He's learning nothing.
There's a lot of backpedaling here.
Yeah, he backpedaled a lot. And that's why I met the problem. I understand it's a kid's show, but it doesn't give you give the show an excuse to not try.
Being a kid's show is never an excuse for bad writing. Not ever. Anyone who says otherwise can't get up with me.
It is deeply offensive to us as we are writers for stuff. She's majoring in animation. I'm a comic book writer. And he's written stories before.
Fan fiction for days.
It's like, we as story writers find this offensive because it's saying that you are willing to believe that kids will buy any crap that is put out.
You're basically saying our jobs are useless.
I think they need to be held to higher standards because
I agree.
It's
kids,
the first
they're
thing
developing. They actually need to learn things.
They need to learn things. And that's why, as opposed to the last episode, I enjoy this episode so much. It taught multiple lessons with this one character who's been mostly in the side.
And now we don't even know what's going to happen next episode other than...
Mary Sue!
Yeah. Other than the Mary Sue. Literally, her name is Mary Sue.
a unit.
Or
a
monster. Whatever it is. Her name's literally Mary Sue. Yeah, it's that girl's buddy. We don't know where it's from. It's either... We're thinking either generic world, or maybe it's the first occurrence of Dungeon World.
Or maybe an offshoot of magic.
It's also possible. I mean, it's a big plate.
Giant, terrifying heart.
It's like a big heart plate thing with lots of designs all over it. It could be for any of those worlds. I think it could be Dungeon World, mostly because, like that bird that we saw in the previews, it looks like it's built on a lot of stuff. Just kind of built all over its body.
And an inanimate
But it also looks very generic. Like, it could go anywhere. So, generic
Immortal Entities is coming up. People speculate that might be the debut of Hero World because they're often regarded as, legends. They never die.
That's true too. And we have seen 2 Hero World cards.
Yep.
Maybe it's Legend World.
It would be a bit soon.
It'd be soon because it looks like that's setting up to be a big threat in this game, in the show. So I would assume that that's being held off until something actually happens with the main character for once.
No, Guy's not gonna do shit.
I hope not. I'm really hoping that it's that guy over there who's doing a lot of the big stuff. Like,
And then we've got Kiri somehow having to descend into madness.
yeah, I know it was a silhouette with the Joker, but I have to. It's gotta be him.
He's fucking blue.
He's blue just like everything in that picture.
Also,
He even got the same bowl-shaped haircut.
And his character introduction just doesn't leave you any room to...
speculate.
Yeah, because he's not the main character. He's not growing as the show goes. That's now Noboru's job.
This kid exists. That's all they told you about him. And that screams mysterious.
Yeah, we literally know nothing about
Oh
him.
yeah, you were talking about character bio, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The thing I want to know is why, Bushiro, do you make me want to hate every single one of your main characters?
I don't know what you're talking about,
say
man.
stop.
Kai's gonna be the main character now, and he's awesome.
That makes me happier. It's just a couple reviews ago, I was rooting for Aichi.
Well, to be fair, you always do that. In the first season, you did that. Aichi became one of the main villains for like 10 episodes until Kai stopped him.
And that was the best episode, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
If I'm so weak, how come we're winning, huh?
Yeah, it was. That was some TV
That
right
drama.
there. And Aichi just kind of bitched and complained in season 2. And then he's barely in half of season 3.
I stalled his development too long. It's time to move on.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad to go into Kai, who probably needs more development just simply on the grounds of he was the mentor,
Then he became the villain.
then he became the villain, and we found he has lots of demons on him. Hi.
Zach, put the knife down.
But yeah, then we found out he has lots of demons and lots of things that he feels he needs to be better at.
He's very insecure.
He is extremely insecure. He
I
admits
couldn't
it.
help my best friend. That was the first thing.
Couldn't help his best friend. He probably had some kind of post-traumatic stuff, losing both of his parents, because unlike Misaki, who took it all out on card games, he might legitimately have some post-traumatic stress on the fact that both his parents are just dead, and then his best friend went insane.
And then he sold his soul to the alien devil.
Effectively, the alien devil, to try to make himself a strong person, probably so he can be that person that doesn't have to worry about being left with nobody.
While causing countless deaths.
It's like, yeah, like he has lots of room to build off of.
And lots of demons. If they don't address these demons in Legion, Matt.
Well, they already sort of did. If this opportunity came up again, I'd probably take it.
He did say that. He did say that in the fight against Aichi for the last part of the season.
I demand more.
Well, he said it himself. He'd probably do it again, which means there's always that possibility he might be tempted to be corrupted again.
God, you're such an asshole.
He's not an asshole. He is suffering from post-traumatic stress. We just went over that. If you lost everyone
He knows
you know,
it's wrong.
He knows it's wrong. He doesn't want to do it. It's just he is weak-spirited. He knows he's weak-spirited. And he doesn't know what he can do about it.
That's why he always clings to the best deck.
Yeah, it's because he feels that that's the only strength he can get.
Yeah.
It's not really his fault when you look at it. It's just life sucks for him. I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
so
getting some dark here, but
Last
you get my
points.
thank you, ma'am. But but you get our point though. You can write a good story and write good characters without pandering down to children. And episode 9 of Buddyfight is a complete antithesis of that whole point. Whereas episode 10 is the best kind of example without it getting too adult. So
Just the right amount of silly.
Yep, it had just enough silly to make it interesting to kids, but also had a good lesson for them.
If you want a really good example of how to do a kid's show that's both deep and meaningful but fun and goofy, go watch Steven Universe. It needs to get more popular.
That's true.
The first episode has a woman snapping a bug's neck.
That's not the first episode, Em.
Oh, it wasn't?
No. That was the cheeseburger episode. That was like episode 4.
I think I'm crazy.
Anyway, so final points on the episode.
1. Oh my god, why did I pick the deck that has the worst characters representing it? He didn't even build the deck right. There was freaking armor knights.
He's using Ogre and Eagle.
Hey, he didn't say it wasn't... Oh, I guess he did, because the decks were titled, like, Dinosaur, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
He implied there were dinosaurs in
really
it.
think I'm gonna get another character playing Dual Dragons?
They have the Emperor. I'm sure someone's gonna use them.
And then another thing.
It's gonna get shit on.
I'm sure that's where they're gonna show off Noboru doing more. Probably their third brother that nobody knew about coming back.
Drago Smasher.
At least Musketeers are in Legion.
Kills them.
At least they're in Legion.
But they're also with Misaki, so they might lose a lot.
Oh, 4 crits, it's okay.
Anyway,
Next point. Task, why are you still using Lot Tail?
Tail Shield Dragon.
Because they can't... They gotta advertise this properly.
Yeah, it's on his cover. It's in there. It's in that deck.
It's his deck from the show, guys. So, yeah, deal with it.
And last
That's
and
so
most
lame.
importantly, driving robot.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. The store owner's robot was away because it's getting cards, delivering to deliver them. It's like something like 10,000 cards or something like that, because of the whole big ABC Part 2 tournament. Whatever it's called now, I forget.
ABC Cup.
No, it's ABC Cup, but which part? Because that was what the other part was called too.
I think that was the qualifier.
For what? There's like 12 people from this school, when we were told 4. And it's not really, Coach, don't you do it now.
Sorry.
So, yeah. I guess that's just about does it for the episode. Final opinion, word.
This is how you do a good episode for a card game thing. Why, oh why, did the writers choose Gao to be the main character? He should be the rival that is an asshole because he wins
final
at
word,
everything.
not final paragraph, Em.
Gary Oak.
Gary Oak.
Fine, good episode. Why Dual Dragons?
All right, Em, you're done. Elliot.
Yeah, this was fine. It was enjoyable, not exactly looking forward to next week because
literally Mary Sue. Literally. She is what? Really best at everything she does or something? Whatever. It's like
there's nothing she can't do.
Nothing she can't do.
And that's why it's got to be a generic card. Please deliver.
We'll find out that next week. I'm going to boycott any episodes of Gao until he starts developing.
We actually don't know who the pro tag is on our side anyway.
But I mean is, I'm going to be having certain people watch the episodes first to tell me if they're worth watching. Because I don't want to deal with another episode 9. My heart can't handle the stupid.
And we have an entire wiki of users keeping an eye out for new stuff anyway. So it's like, why should we?
So, yeah. I believe that's everything. Tonight, we start Legion Mates.
Oh boy.
Hope you guys are ready for it, because I know I sure am.
Musketeers.
Shut up, Em. You don't get those until maybe next week. Maybe. It depends on what
if he's actually using it or not. If it helps you, it's probably the most logical one she'll be using based off the stuff that's in set 16.
Plot twist, Spike Brothers.
She's using Spike
Brothers. She is the tomboy.
Oh god,
Shut up, Zach!
I wanted to use Dudley Lucifer so bad for Avatar's Blow Kiss Olivia.
Oh man.
Dude. Don't give me
Ideas.
that boner.
Too late. You already pictured it. I can tell in your pants.
Well,
I'm down here. I can tell you he's not picturing it.
why are you staring at his crotch, Em?
Because Dan brought it up.
Well, till next time, everybody.